Hi everybody, it's Charlie Nelson, I guess both past and current coach of the UIC Gymnastics program. I wanted to welcome all of you and thank all of you for coming out tonight. This video is being produced for all of you who are part of the UIC Windy City bus transportation party. Maybe you're watching this on your way to the meet, in between rotations, or looking at it while you're hanging out over at Hawkeyes. But since I'm over at the gym right now, I wanted to say hi. I hope I'll see all of you afterward, and if not, hopefully soon. But a lot has happened in the last 3-4 years with UIC Gymnastics and certainly the world. And so I wanted to take a few minutes and hopefully not ramble on too long, but in one take cover a lot of ground. The first thing I want to say to all of you is that I hope you've had an opportunity to talk to somebody who is a little outside of your era. You folks who lived in the dorm in the chalet, the younger guys only know about that from secondhand stories from me. So give them the firsthand lowdown about what it was like and what it was like back in those days. And you younger guys, you very younger guys, older alumni, they don't know anything about GymAct. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit tonight, but it'll be great if it comes from you. They also didn't have dorms when they went to UIC. So maybe you can give them a little update on what that was like and what your experience was. This is an incredible community. It's a tight-knit community, and I'd like it to continue to be that way. So, talking to more than just your old roommate will go a long way to continuing that. We have a lot to learn from each other, both when it comes to, current professions, right? A lot of you are in real estate. A lot of you are in law enforcement. A lot of you are in engineering. A lot of you are in education. And if we can build that network, we're actually working on a UIC Gymnastics LinkedIn group page, mostly because, if you know somebody who went to UIC, you certainly want to help each other out, but you also know the quality education that you got. And what kind of grit and determination you had to have to be a gymnast, to be in the city of Chicago, to understand all of that. And so, you already know a little bit about somebody's resume. And so hopefully there's some connections that can be made there. I'd like to cover a variety of things, kind of the state of college gymnastics, where UIC has been the last few years, GymAct. Might be the first time you're hearing about that, and I'll explain a bit more about that, and a little bit about the Illinois High School Association. So I hope you're in for, I'm at 3:19 now. Hopefully I won't talk too long, maybe take it in bits and pieces, start it and stop it. But let me start with, let's go with 2018, right? Fall of 2018. Both the men's and women's gymnastics teams were informed that the 2019 season would be it as varsity programs at UIC. A lot of really big time programs were cut over the years, and we carried on. We did our best. We made a valiant fight to try to reverse that decision, flip the decision, and turn that thing around. But we also knew that we needed a fallback position. So we started talking to Campus Recreation in the spring of 2019, to talk about, what could we do? What might be a possibility? We had had a soft offer, a little bit of discussion with City Gymnastics, Natalia Yurchenko's gym in the South Loop, about maybe moving over there. And we kind of accelerated those talks. We said, if this really comes to pass, what could we do? They had just started a boys gymnastics program. They were very open to having us come in, but they didn't necessarily have the equipment that would be needed. We did, and UIC didn't need it anymore. So we began that process. We became a club through Campus Recreation, an official sports club of the university. So we're university affiliated. We worked with the university to get that equipment transferred. We worked with the university to get our funding, your donations, given to the club, transferred over so that we could access that and plan a schedule. And then we moved over to City Gymnastics, about a mile and a half from campus, right in the South Loop, 1700 block of Michigan, and a great facility. All of that I just said in 2 sentences didn't happen overnight. It took quite a while. We didn't move in to the gym until the end of October because it took a little bit of doing through some red tape to make sure that the equipment was properly transferred through University and State of Illinois property management systems. Took even longer to make sure that your donations were spent on gymnasts, and they were. They have been. Any penny you've ever donated to UIC Gymnastics has been spent on UIC Gymnastics. But that took some time. All of that really kind of took a while and brought us into maybe February of 2020. And then March of 2020 came. Everything shut down, and things got, we were just trying to get our feet under ourselves, and things got tough. We weren't really able to recruit through the 2018-2019 season. We didn't know where things were going to go. We couldn't begin recruiting in the fall of 2019 because, we didn't know if we had a gym or money or equipment or anything else. And then COVID came, and you couldn't really recruit, in our position anyway, through COVID because we didn't know what the future was going to hold. We didn't know if gyms were going to close en masse. We didn't know, if things were going to continue at all. And I'm certainly not interested in making promises to 17, 18, 19-year-old kids about where they could do something for the next 4 years if I can't really honestly offer that. I have a lot of faith, but I'm not going to put it on someone else necessarily. All that is to say is that majority of the guys who were on the varsity team at UIC, they came over and they joined the new club team. The new club team needed a place to be. Who were we going to compete against? We could still compete against NCAA teams, but luckily there was a growing movement just a couple years before we were looking for a place to belong. A variety of club teams in the US here created a league called GymAct. It's the Gymnastics Association of College Teams. And essentially what it is it's not a great comparison, but I'm going to compare it to Division II in like the 1970s and 80s. That might make a lot of sense to some of you. Every team in GymAct is coached. There's no let's show up and do some gymnastics clubs. Every team is coached. Every team has to have a certain level of support and network behind it so that it will be strong. And we're really working and building with that. And I'll speak on that just a little bit in a few minutes. Every team in GymAct, like I say, is coached. They're serious. It's real gymnastics. And it was perfect for what UIC was looking for. So we joined that league. We were originally going to compete in the 2020 championship. That was canceled. And then COVID provided a lot of different opportunities. It's made things difficult for UIC and a lot of other programs. But it's also brought GymAct into its own. We're really developing into our own league. I can speak with a little bit of authority. I'm on the GymAct board of directors, so I'm a voting member of that board, and have been able to see what is really happening there. There are 14 teams now in GymAct. That means 250 real roster competitive spots that exist now for collegiate gymnastics that didn't exist 10 years ago. On the NCAA side, we've had our frustrations. Obviously, UIC But through COVID, University of Iowa and the University of Minnesota were both, I'll call them budget victims to the COVID pandemic. I think a university, my opinion, a university could have tightened their belt a little bit more, but they decided to cut some things away. Maybe cut off their arms. I don't know if that's the right term. Sorry. Again, one take. I'm 10 minutes in, and I hope I'm doing all right. But both of those programs were cut. They did find a really good landing spot in the Gymnastics Association of Collegiate Teams, GymAct. So now they're part of our 14 teams. That means, again, I'll repeat it again, 250, at least 250 competitive, travel, trained roster spots for college athletes. What we've had on the NCAA side, on the positive end, are 2 new teams. You're going to see one of them tonight at the Windy City, Greenville University. It's in Illinois. It's a small, I'll call it a small, private, liberal arts-based college. Approximately 1,200 students, and they've added men's and women's gymnastics. So has Simpson College in Iowa. That means 2 new NCAA gymnastics teams and essentially 14 new GymAct teams. We're up to 28 real collegiate teams in the United States. What this is means that I can go to a gymnastics camp and I can talk to every kid there who has a passion for the sport and at least a modicum of talent and say, there is a gymnastics program for you to compete in college. Nobody's been able to say that for at least 40 years because we're dwindling colleges, we're dwindling roster spots, roster limits, everything that came with that. It's really a huge positive. And this is because of the work of coaches in the NCAA. It's because of the work of the people like Scott Barkley and Mark Bogoje, Jesse Kitson-Abelson, Heinz Schulmeister, just to name a few within GymAct. It is a labor of love and it's a passion, and it's really exciting because gymnastics, men's gymnastics in particular, is growing. We can really truly say that. It doesn't mean that there aren't challenges within gymnastics. The first, I will have to say, is within UIC. Mentioned, lost momentum through the COVID pandemic. We're only going to have 2 guys competing today. We only have 3 guys on our roster right now. We've run into a lot of things. I have a 5-year-old daughter whose school schedule has changed a little bit, and it conflicts with the training schedule with the gym. It's made it harder for me to be a day-to-day coach, and that's been hard for a while. The other things that are happening include that currently City Gymnastics has moved to a different temporary training site near the University of Chicago. It's fantastic, but it's a little farther from campus than we originally had anticipated. That makes it hard to make promises and really truly recruit. But I'm not sure where UIC Gymnastics will be a year from now or 2 years from now. But I'm committed to making sure that that can continue. I'm going to throw it out now, and I'll bring it up again later. If you have an interest in helping with the day-to-day of the UIC Gymnastics program, you're seeing this and you're thinking, well, I could maybe find some time, especially with my new flexible schedule that is off-site, maybe not in an office. Let's talk. Please reach out to me because I think you could potentially help us rebuild and regrow. The whole thing of UIC Gymnastics started with 6 guys in 1946. Since then, I made a note of it, sorry, we've had more than 630 guys participate in our program over 74 years. Also, I'm missing 1964. Let me pull it up. I've got it on my computer right here. I'm missing where's that master list? One moment, please. Thank you. Bear with me. I went into the archives of the library and I went through old reports from Ben Montcalm, Hal Fry, C.J. Johnson. They used to have to turn in annual reports, and the archives also have old rosters and old media guides and everything else. And I have a list right here of everybody, their first year at UIC, listed down. I am missing 1964, 1965, and 1966. If you have access to that, please, I'd like to see it. But let me get back to where I was talking before. Essentially, like I say, the future of college gymnastics is really pretty exciting because the NCAA is growing. GymAct is growing. I mentioned the 14 teams. We have a process for coming into the league. There are 3 teams, I think it is. Don't quote me, but 3 teams, it could be 4, that are working through our membership process to be a part of the league. We're divided into an East and West conference now because we grew too big. We have an all-star meet where we have a video submission process. Guys qualify. It's exciting. It is experiential. It is an opportunity to continue your gymnastics career beyond your high school days. And that brings me into the current status of the Illinois High School Association. I wouldn't be sitting here right now talking to my phone about UIC gymnastics or gymnastics at all if it wasn't for the Illinois High School Association and its gymnastics, its sponsorship of a gymnastics championship and gymnastics programs. For those of you from Illinois, I don't think, and especially if you were part of that program, you don't necessarily realize how democratizing that program is. The fact that you can not have any experience in the sport at all and be in your high school and not have any money to spend on it or travel to a gym and be able to be a part of gymnastics and have that team experience, that competitive experience, it is unique, and it is unique to Illinois. Some other states have it in a sense, but Illinois is the only one that sponsors it and that truly has it as a high school sport. All that said is that gymnastics has been was an early adopter of privatization, right? Private clubs, work your way up, you work with a private coach, and you start at 3 and you get up here. And there is a place for that, and I think it is amazing. Every other sport has caught on, right? If you want to play baseball and you're in high school and you show up as a freshman not having played baseball for the last 5-10 years, you're not making the team. If you join the football team, and there's tons of spots, but if you haven't played football before, you might make the team, the B team of the freshman year, and then we'll see after that. There's only 2 sports in high school that I think you can truly say, no experience, you can go join and you can compete and be a part of the team. One is wrestling and the other is gymnastics. Outside of that, everything else requires a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of commitment from parents. The Illinois High School Association is taking a look at whether they should continue to sponsor the IHSA State Series for boys gymnastics. And currently, we are obviously trying to fight that. There's a website. I'd like you to take a look. I'll put it maybe in the bio. I still haven't actually worked out how I'm going to upload this, but it is savehsgymnastics.com, and it has information about what is happening with the High School Gymnastics Association, as well as what you can do. And particularly, we want to send positive letters, positive information about what is happening in why we need to keep high school gymnastics. The other area that I would like you to think about is supporting college gymnastics financially. I mentioned if there's you particularly have a day-to-day opportunity to help UIC gymnastics, that is what our biggest need is right now. With 3 guys on the roster and a limited schedule here in 2023, we are financially in a good place. I may come to you next year and say, we could use $10, $100, $1,000. Maybe you could make a donation. But for this year, we are in a good spot. So if you want to make a financial impact on college gymnastics, there's a couple places that you could look. The first one I would recommend is going to gymact.org. That's gymact.org. And learning a little bit more about the league. I'm certainly happy to answer more questions. I gave you a very brief background. But supporting that league at the top level has a true and real effect on every program within it and every athlete that has an opportunity within it. The other option, if you're a little skeptical about the Gymact League, is the CGA, the College Gymnastics Association, which is now essentially exclusive to the NCAA programs. Making a donation to the CGA helps support those college gymnastics programs, as well as the efforts to create more NCAA level programs, like Greenville, like Simpson. I'm very excited with the idea that there will be more NCAA programs coming online. I'm very excited to know that there are going to be more Gymact programs coming online. Now, we also have to make sure that there's an opportunity for people to be exposed to gymnastics at an accessible level, both financially and geographically. And that starts here in Illinois. And again, that website is savehsgymnastics.com. I hope you'll take a look at those after you've finished with my 22 minutes. And I appreciate you sitting through all of this. Go Flames. Thank you for being so supportive. And we'll look forward to the future. Thanks.